to Cheap Joe's Art Stuff. My name is Julie and I'm here to impart some knowledge to you today via a 2-minute art tip. And today's tip is actually about some compositional fails that I want to talk about to help you avoid in the future. Now, what we're going to be doing is looking at like photo resources and how to not look at them exactly as absolutes, like that those are not the end all be all of how things must be arranged when you're putting together a piece. For instance, I have a photograph here, and it's a very, very delicate, low contrast, kind of intimate photograph of a rose, as you can see. But there are some things about this that are good, in my opinion, and also some things that are problematic. Okay. One of the things that I like about this is that you do have some interesting treatment of the edges, which creates some dynamic, negative shapes. So you have like this shape here where the petals break the visual plane and stuff like this. And then you also have a really dynamic shape that is created, around this edge where, the rose does not break the visual plane on this side. So that's cool. So you have some really interesting stuff happening there, because then you also have this shape here. Now that's cool. Now, in order to not make this look like a cutout, you do have another kind of visual element where you have this glinty, light in the back. The problem with those kinds of things are, in this kind of context, is because you have almost a complete lost edge with the amount of light that's hitting the rose here, and then also the light that's coming in, you have a very hard time picking out where this begins and ends. And right here, this kind of glinty prettiness almost makes you lose the shape of the rose. You kind of get lost in all this kind of stuff. So this thing is necessary. I mean, it's a nice extra shape that kind of breaks up the visual plane. It breaks up the background, but it may be better utilized if it's moved a little bit. So it's not directly in contact with some of the petals. You can maybe move it down here a little bit, or change the direction of this light, because it's actually flooded with light. You don't see a whole lot of shadows here. You can move this light source anywhere up here and still have this read correctly. So making sure that your light source isn't actually eating up your subject in something like this and causing disturbances along, the outside edge means that you don't have lost edges of your major subject here, and that can be a major benefit. Here's another one. Now, I'm not saying that this is bad. I'm not, because the photography is actually quite exceptional. Compositionally, there are some definite things that I would change in looking at this. A couple of things that I see generally, let's fold this in half. Let's look at this. All right. So pretty much dude is kind of right in the middle. When you're talking about subjects as prominent as this, being right in the middle, not exactly that great. So what would I do if I was looking at this? Well, I would kind of apply the rule of thirds. And what I would do is move him in the picture plane. Which way? That's kind of up to you. I kind of like this depth of field thing that's happening, and you have a lot of strong directional movement because of these two converging lines, converging planes that are pointing you directly towards the subject's face. However, that kind of really, really powerful, strong convergence can be a little bit much. So what I might do is move him over just a little bit. And so, yes, you haven't lost any bit of the directional movement here, but you have kind of moved him over so that there's a little bit of a space for the viewer's eye to rest, which is right here in this kind of softer area. I also would probably change some of these lost edges, because this high key light around his head kind of makes his hair look a little bit funny. You know, I'm not sure if his hair looks like that or not, or if it's just because of the way that the light is cast around his face or not. But this is creating a really, really sharp line around his head that you might want to look at a little bit differently because of the shape that it's creating. So when you're looking at, you know, your visual reference and stuff, always understand that this is just sort of like a guidepost. It's not the finish line. And you can always adjust and make your subject more prominent or less prominent, and these other visual elements work together in a little bit more harmony to make the visual interest a little bit more understandable and clear. So we hope that these little tips were helpful to you and hope that you enjoy.